Alright guys, welcome back. We have something very interesting here in Master Duel. There were leaks for 40 plus new cards that will come out in the TCG and OCG in future sets, which is a very interesting. Apparently, these data sets have been implemented into the game and they were data mined, and now we can see cards that have not even been announced for the TCG and OCG and some interesting cards. I want to take a look over a few of them, not all of them because they're definitely too much, but a few of the important ones for interesting archetypes like Primite that we will get in the future, Blue Eyes for example, or also something like Vanquish Soul, which is a fan favorite deck in a Master Duel already. So let's quickly read about them. We have a new Blue Eyes card coming. We don't know quite when. Unfortunately, we can also not see it, but it's called Legend of Justice Kaibaman. If this card is normal or special summon, so we can't really say what this is, but I am assuming, since there is the normal summon thing here, the normal summoning condition, that this is probably monster with 4 or less stars. I would assume you can show 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand, deck, face of field, and or graveyard. So you need to show 3, which means you need to play 3. Not the greatest thing. Then special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. If you special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon where this card is in your graveyard, if you special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon when this card is in your graveyard, like Maiden of White, basically, you can banish this card for cost, add 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck to your hand. Okay. Unfortunately, I think, and you can let me know what you think, this card is not that great. Needing us to have 3 Blue Eyes monsters available is not that great, and then summoning Blue Eyes, I don't know. Maiden does this better, or the Link 1 into the Blue Eyes into Maiden. This one isn't really it, unfortunately. I guess we can show it from the deck, which is quite nice. Maybe we will get additional support where then playing 3 Blue Eyes would be worth it. We will take a look at the Primite support in a second here. That might give us a hint there, but for now it doesn't seem that great. Add Ignister, Link Slayer, add Ignister. If you're not aware, the add Ignister stuff, we can quickly open this. Will also get very cool support in the future. This is already support that is in the OCG in the form of Echoed Talker at Ignister, Backup at Ignister, the Wizard at Ignister, and even more at Ignister cards. Link Slayer at Ignister, if a Cybers monster you control would be used as a link material for an at Ignister link monster, this card in your hand can also be used as material. So basically, this is like the other card that could search the strap card, sign it coding. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a link material, which it would be for the first effect, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 spell trap on the field, or you can target 2. If this card on the field was used as a material, destroy that card. Very nice. We can use this from the hand, and then we can also use this to basically play into our opponent's board, destroying either 1 spell trap or 2, and this can be obviously quite nice. We are not quite sure what level this is, but I would assume you can normal summon this without a tribute summon. But yeah, we will have to see, but could be very strong, giving you the ability to play into a board, which is always nice. We have Argostars here, but we will skip this since we would need to look at the entire Argostars new archetype, and it's not even that great. It's a trap card monster-based archetype. Then we also have Regenesis. This is an archetype I think we already have, and we will get support in the future. And then we have new Morganite cards. If you're not aware of what that is, this is basically not really an archetype, but we have this time tiering Morganite already in the game. I think the End Exalting Morganite. I don't know this card. It's not yet in the game, or maybe it is succumbing. Are these those cards? No, but there are even more Morganite cards coming. So this one basically says, and we already have this for the rest of this duel, apply the following effects. You cannot activate monster effects in the hand, draw 2 cards instead of 1, and you can conduct 2 normal summons instead of 1. So a good card for stun decks. You might have already seen this in stun decks. And then we have End Exalting Morganite. You cannot activate monster effects in the hand. Your monsters can make up to 2 attacks. Interesting. On monsters though, if your monster battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. Okay, once again, good for stun decks. But we have more Morganite cards here. Morgana, the Witch of Ice. This card is always treated as a Morganite card. Kind of sounds like a Black Witch. When an opponent, the monster, declares an attack, you can banish 1 Morganite spell from your graveyard and negate the attack. That's quite nice, I guess. So I'm assuming this is a monster. You can only use each of the following effects of Morgana, the Witch of Ice, once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, yeah it is, you can add 1 Morganite spell from your deck to your hand. If you have 3 or more Morganite spells with different names in your graveyard or banishment, you can make the attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls 0. Interesting. So it seems that there will be a stun deck revolving around the Morganite cards. We have even more here. As you can see, this, for example, is the same as this one. Yeah, but this one is new, even though there's the same picture. Succumbing Song Morganite cannot activate monster effects in the hand. Monsters you control can make up to 2 monsters. Okay, this one is also like this one, so we will get more of these. There will be an entire stun deck with Morganite cards in it, it seems. Yay. Let me know what you think in the comments when it comes to stun decks. Guild Gripping Morganite for the rest of this duel. So this is a new Morganite card. Unlike the other two that we have seen here, you can activate monster effects in the hand. Like always, you can normal summon level 5 or higher monsters without tributing. That's nice, I guess, since you can then play cards like the Vanity, is it called Vanity Fiend? These locking monsters. I would assume you are playing in this deck. Okay, Fiend will not really get me what I'm searching, but it's like these Fiend monsters where it says it's level 6 with 2400 attack, and it says your opponent cannot activate monster effects, and your opponent cannot, I think, summon or something, and you do not pay life points to activate spells and traps. Interesting. I'm thinking about what this could. I mean, sure, we can like Solemn Judgment, Solemn Strike, I guess, for free. That's nice. But what else would you use this for? I'm not quite sure here. Okay, but very interesting, Morganite basically becoming its own archetype. We have Primite here. So if you're not aware, Primite, we assume this will come in the April pack, the Primite cards, which will be great support for Blue Eyes. But this archetype is also cool because this is an archetype that synergizes with normal monsters, making the whole normal monster thing better once again, which I think is super, super nice. We are hoping for the Primite Lordly Lord, the Primite Dragon Ether Barrel, and the Primite Drill Beam for Master Duel in April for the Blue Eyes deck, but we get more cards here. Firstly, Primite Fusion. Fusion summon 1 Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling its materials from your field, graveyard, and or banishment into the deck, including a normal monster. And here's the normal monster trope, basically. You can also banish this card from your graveyard for cost at 1 level 5 or higher Primate monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which would be this one, the Primite Imperial Dragon, currently not played in Blue Eyes, for example. Cannot be normal summoned except by tributing 1 normal monster. During your opponent's main phase quick effect, you can reveal this card in your hand immediately after this effect resolves a normal summon 1 Primate monster. And then if this card is tributed, you can apply these effects in sequence, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls, banish all monsters your opponent controls with the same type or attribute as a normal monster in your graveyard. Not quite sure, since I'm not super familiar with all of the Primate cards, but these 3 here, how you would tribute summon this, maybe on your opponent's turn with some card, which obviously would be very nice, cleaning up your opponent's field. But this is basically the level 5 or higher that you can search with this. Fusion summon, we can fusion summon the Primate Dragon Neither Berzelius. 1 Primate monster and 1 normal monster, gains 1000 attack for each normal monster used for its fusion summon. This has originally, I've seen this already, 1900 attack. Negate the activated effects of monsters your opponent controls whose level, rank, or link rating is less than or equal to the number of normal monsters in your field and graveyard. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 normal monster from your deck in defense position. Okay, so in the case of Primate Blue Eyes, which is the most prominent normal monster deck, which is also strong, you would have a maximum of 2 Blue Eyes, that is. So everything with less than 2 link, rank, and level would be, the activated effects would be negated, which for level this is not that relevant. I feel maybe in the future with archetypes like Yummy. For link rating, that's not that bad. Rank is also, rank 2 XYZ. This is pretty rare, I would say. But if you play even more, maybe a complete Primate deck with even more normal monsters in it, then obviously this can be very nice floodgate type of monster here. And then we have new Vanquish Soul cards. We also have new Nouvelle cards, and then Flame Swordsman, Tistina, and Ashened, as well as Odeon and Mitsurugi. A very interesting TCG exclusive ritual archetype, and then you can see there are also others here. But we will take a look at let's also take a look at the Vanquish Soul stuff. The other archetypes I'm not super interested in, I have to say. We have Vanquish Soul, Holy Sue. During the main phase quick effect, you can reveal 1 other Vanquish Soul monster in your hand. Special summon this card from your hand. Well, that seems easy. Quick effect, you can activate one of these effects by revealing monsters in your hand with the listed attributes, Earth and Dark. Take control of 1 monster your opponent controls with the lowest attack. Okay, your choice if tied until the end phase. Not bad. Fire and Dark special special summon one non-psychic Vanquish Soul monster from your deck, which could be Raisin, getting you into more Vanquish Soul stuff. So I'm assuming this is higher than a level 4. Very interesting card. It reads kind of nice. Vanquish Soul rocks. That's nice. We are getting an XYZ, so another extra deck monster. 2+ level 4 Vanquish Soul monsters. Once per turn, if a Vanquish Soul monster battled this turn, okay, you can also XYZ summon Vanquish Soul rocks by using one Vanquish Soul monster or one Rock of the Vanquisher on the link 1. If you're not aware, Rock of the Vanquisher would be this one here. Link 1 for the Vanquish Soul archetype. Interesting that they already get new support, and Vanquish Soul we have here. So we can also make this with a rock or with only one Vanquish Soul if we have attacked, and then gains the following effect based on the attributes of its attached materials. That's cool. Dark, all monsters your opponent control lose 800. Not that great. Fire, Vanquish Soul monsters you control gain 1000. That's quite a lot. Earth, you can detach one material from this card, destroy one card your opponent controls. It's not a quick effect though. Vanquish Soul rocks. Okay, interesting. The problem here is, maybe the next card solves this problem. So the problem is, if a Vanquish Soul monster battled this turn, we can XYZ summon this, right? But we would need to do this in main phase 2. But I feel like both of these effects, the Dark and the Fire effect, are great in the battle phase. But at the point where we can make the Vanquish Soul, I guess we can also make it before, right? And then boost all of our Vanquish Soul monsters. I mean, the card is okay. I would say you definitely play one of this just to maybe have the opportunity to kill your opponent more effectively, but not the greatest card, especially because this one here is not a quick effect. Vanquish Soul start, you can target one Vanquish Soul monster you control, add one Vanquish Soul monster with a different attribute from your deck to your hand. If a Vanquish Soul monster you control would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can reveal one Vanquish Soul monster in your hand instead. Okay, the revealment here would, for example, trigger cards like the Jaya Long to be a special summoned. During the end phase, if you control 2 or more Vanquish Soul monsters, you can set one Vanquish Soul trap from your deck. This reads like a continuous spell, honestly. During the end phase, if you control 2 or more Vanquish Soul monsters, you can set one Vanquish Soul trap from your deck. Oh, that's nice. You can set the destruction trap then. I like this one here. That's nice because you can target one Vanquish Soul monster to add. So if, for example, you start with your Dr. Madlove, you can add your Raisin, or you could add a Jaya Long or something like this. You can add another attribute, which means that you then have more attributes available, especially for having all 3 attributes for the trap that you can also set with this. So I like this one, I like this one. This one I'm not too sure about. Let's also read the Nouvelle cards. Not the biggest fan of this archetype, but maybe with new support, the archetype can finally do something or can be effective. I also don't like the artwork. You can let me know in the comments what you think. We have a continuous spell card while you control a Nouvelle monster. All face of monsters your opponent controls are changed to attack position. Each time a monster is attributed by original monster's effect. So all of them basically do this. Your opponent pays 850, strange number, life points, once per turn. If you special summon an original monster, you can target one of them, add one recipe or Nouvelle card from your deck to add except a continuous spell. And if you do increase that monster's level by 1, okay. Not super familiar with the deck overall, but sounds nice, I guess. And then we have Chef Duel, which is level 3 Light Fiend, so Fiendsmith, Pendulum Effect monster. Oh, a Pendulum monster, man, I'm already not fond of reading this. Monster effect, if this card on the field is attributed and added to the extra deck face up. So I guess for the ritual summon, it would be attributed and added face up. You can place this card in your Pendulum zone, which is nice, so you can use this as a normal monster and then as the Pendulum version. You can activate the following effects of Chef de Nouvelle in the same chain. Once per turn, quick effect, you can target one effect monster on the field, increase its level by up to 3. Why is this important? Is this important with this level stuff? Nouvelle experts, let me know in the comments. Once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can banish one recipe from your hand, deck, or graveyard. That's nice for a graveyard. Apply that card's activation effect that ritual summons a monster. Okay, so he summons and I can ritual summon. Okay. And then during the main phase, if this card was activated this turn, you can add this Pendulum now. You can add one Nouvelle card from your deck to your hand, except a Pendulum monster. That's nice. This card reads kind of nice. And then we have Angry Burger, a new Angry Burger, level 6 Dark Warrior Ritual Effect monster. Is this a new Angry Burger? This card is always treated as Hungry Burger. Okay, the other one is Hungry Burger, right? You can ritual summon this card with a recipe card, any recipe card. Monster your opponent controls that can attack must attack this card. I mean, okay, with 2/8, that's okay, I guess. And you can only use each of the following. Once per turn, you can reveal this card in your hand, add 1 Nouvelle monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do shuffle this card into the deck, that's nice. You can just, yeah, basically shuffle this back, get the card that you need. So this is basically like a search card for the deck, and then you can put it back to the deck, and this is always a Nouvelle card that you want to have, I guess. That's nice. Quick effect, you contribute 1 attack position monster on either field, and if you do special summon 1 Hungry Burger, okay, so you contribute your opponent's monster for a Hungry Burger, yeah, I don't know, do you even want to play Hungry Burger? I guess this is more of a meme, honestly. I don't know if this will make the deck playable, and then we have also support for Flame Swordsman, Tistina, Ashened. Ashened might be interesting. Infernos of the Ashened. When this card is activated, you can place 1 Obsidian, the Ashened city from your deck face up in either field zone. You can target 1 face up card your opponent controls and 1 level 8 or higher Dark Pirate monster in your graveyard. Send that card on the field to the graveyard, and if you do special summon that other monster from your graveyard to your opponent's field in defense position. So this basically sets up the destruction of the opponent's board via him having the, yeah, how is the guy called? The Ashened monster that can basically blow up the entire field. Can we see him here? The Vados, right? If this card is sent from your opponent's field to do effect, you can destroy all monsters on the field. So this sets up that nicely, also sets up the field spell. Sounds kind of nice, I guess. This will be, yeah, relevant. And then we have Odeon, which is an archetype we don't have in Master Duel yet, as well as Mitsurugi, so we don't go over them. And then we have like some other ones, yeah, that are not specifically archetype related. But yeah, very interesting that we have this in the game files already. Kind of strange also that they have added these before they even came out anywhere. Begs the question if they have basically any card already implemented in Master Duel. Very interesting though. Let me know in the comments what you think of the leaks. I kind of like it if the guys find these data mining points. I find this very, very interesting. A few cool cards in here for sure. I think the Primite cards are nice. The Vanquish Soul has definitely some nice cards. And yeah, unfortunately the blue eye is not that great, but let me know in the comments what you think. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell, and we will see each other in the next one.